So we'll now discuss about middle term, greatest binomial coefficients, and one more topic, numerically greatest term. So for middle term, let's choose an expansion, x plus a whole power n. So based on the value of n, we can decide the number of terms. So you can now say that because the power is n, the number of terms is n plus 1. First thing that you know is number of terms is n plus 1. This n can be an even number or an odd number. So first let us take the case 1 where n is even. So if n is even, you can assume that n equal to some 2m. It's of the form some 2m where m is another integer. So when I list out the terms, t1, t2, t3, up to tn plus 1 are the terms. And instead of n, if I write 2m here, you can list out the terms as t1, t2, t3, and so on. In between, you have tm, tm plus 1, tm plus 2, and so on up to tn plus 1 would become t2m plus 1 because n is 2m. So in terms of n, if I ask you how many terms are there, it is n plus 1. In terms of m, if I ask you, the number of terms is 2m plus 1. So if 2m plus 1 terms are there, you have m terms from beginning, m terms from ending. So there are m terms here. There are m terms here. M terms here. In the middle, you have one term. So total 2m plus 1 terms are there. This is the middle term. So whenever n is even number, there is only one middle term. And what is the middle term? So the middle term is tm plus 1. And actually, what is m? We know that n is 2m because I assumed n is even. So m is n by 2. So you can just say the middle term is tn plus 1. Tn by 2 plus 1. So this is looking like tr plus 1. This looks like tr plus 1. And how do you write general term of binomial expansion? Tr plus 1. Generally, we write ncr, x power n minus r, a power r is the general term. And to find the middle term in this case, you just have to put r equal to n by 2. So the middle term is tn by 2 plus 1, and that is nothing but nc n by 2, x power n minus n by 2, a power n by 2. So you can calculate the middle term with general term formula only by putting r as n by 2. This is the case where n is even. Then the second case that you have is n is odd. N is odd number. So if n is an odd number, n can be of the form 2m plus 1. Then the terms are t1, t2, t3, and so on up to tm, tm plus 1, tm plus 2, and so on up to t2m plus 1, comma t2m plus 2. Because the number of terms is one more than the index. So it is n plus 1, n plus 1 is 2m plus 2. So total number of terms is 2m plus 2. That means if I leave m terms from the beginning, m from the beginning and m from the ending, m here and m here, m terms are there from beginning and m terms are there from the ending. So these are the middle terms. There will be two middle terms in this case. So in this case, you are going to have two middle terms. So tm plus 1 is the middle term, and that can be written as t. What is the value of m from here? N minus 1 by 2. So t n minus 1 by 2 plus 1. And the other one is t m plus 2. M plus 2 means n minus 1 by 2 plus 2. That is same as t n plus 3 by 2 when you simplify, or it is also same as n plus 1 by 2 plus 1. So this looks like tr plus 1 where this is r value, and this also looks like tr plus 1 where this is value of r. So for finding middle term, you can just take r as n minus 1 by 2 here and r as n plus 1 by 2 and just use general term formula. So if you have to write general term, what do you write again? NCR, x power n minus r, a power r. So when you are writing the middle term, first you will put r as n minus 1 by 2. So then it will be nc n minus 1 by 2, x power n minus of n minus 1 by 2, a power n minus 1 by 2. This is one middle term. The other middle term is t n plus 1 by 2 plus 1. And that is nothing but nc n plus 1 by 2, x power n minus n plus 1 by 2, and a power n plus 1 by 2. So these are the two middle terms whenever the power is an odd number. So after middle term, then if it is numerically greatest coefficient, so sorry, greatest binomial coefficient, you can just mention. Greatest binomial coefficient, if I ask you, always you can say greatest binomial coefficient is the coefficient of the middle term. You have to just mention the greatest binomial coefficient will be the coefficient of middle term. You already know how to find a middle term. You have to just write the coefficient of that will give you greatest binomial coefficient. And if it is numerically greatest term, the value of the term should be greatest among all the terms, excluding the sign, only the numerical value you have to see. So if you have to find the numerically greatest term, I'll not give you derivation, I'll give a direct formula itself. You can use that directly in questions. So numerically greatest term, if you have to find out in the expansion of x plus a power n, consider the value of n plus 1 by 1 plus mod x by a. Suppose you get the value of n plus 1 by 1 plus mod x by a as some integer p, where p is some integer, then numerically greatest term is pth term and p plus 1th term, tp and tp plus 1, and you can find the value of the term by general term formula. And in case you get the value of n plus 1 by 1 plus mod x by a as some integer plus some fraction, p plus f, where p is some integer and f is a fraction which lies in the interval 0 to 1. In this case, numerically greatest term is just p plus 1th term, tp plus 1 you just have to find. So whenever they ask numerically greatest term, just find the value of n plus 1 by 1 plus mod x by a. If you get the answer as an integer, the numerically greatest term are that integer and the next one. Like for example, you get p as 3, then t3 and t4 are numerically greatest. But suppose you get an answer integer plus fraction, like you are getting 3.5, then you'll take fourth term as numerically greatest. So just you have to remember this formula for solving questions of this topic. So after this, the next questions will be based on sum of coefficients in binomial expansion. Sum of coefficients in expansion. It can be binomial, trinomial, any multinomial expansion, anything we can use. So for solving questions of this type, so let us first start with the expansion of 1 plus x power n. We can write this as nc0 plus nc1x plus nc2x square and so on up to ncn x power n. So if I name it as some f of x, because it's a function of x, I'll call it as f of x here. So if I write f of 1, basically this will be 2 power n, and the right hand side will become nc0 plus nc1 up to ncn. So basically what I got is sum of all the binomial coefficients. So sum of the coefficients nc0 plus nc1 plus nc2 up to ncn, all these are called binomial coefficients. So sum of the binomial coefficients is always 2 power n by putting 1 here. Similarly, instead of putting 1, if I write f of minus 1, LHS will become 0. In the right hand side, you'll get nc0, then nc1 into x is minus 1, so you'll get minus nc1. Then again, minus 1 square is positive, so you'll get nc2. Then again, you'll get minus nc3 and so on. So you'll alternately get positive and negative. The last term would be ncn minus x whole power n. So therefore, from here, you can just write nc0 minus nc1 plus nc2 minus nc3, etc. up to, in the last one, you take minus 1 common, and because you put x as 1, this will be actually minus 1 power n ncn. Because you're putting x as minus 1 already, minus 1 power n ncn will be equal to 0. And if you add these two, you can get all even terms, subtract them, you'll get all odd terms, but you'll get them double time. So if you add f of 1 and f of minus 1, so basically if you add f of 1 and f of minus 1, you will get 2 times sum of even binomial coefficients like nc0, nc2, nc4, etc. And if you subtract them, you will get 2 times the sum of odd coefficients like nc1, nc3, nc5, etc. So whenever they ask you sum of all the binomial coefficients, you just have to write f of 1. Sum of even binomial coefficients, it will be f of 1 plus f of minus 1 divided by this 2 gets divided that side. And if there are sum of odd binomial coefficients, it is f of 1 minus f of minus 1 by 2. So this you can remember directly and use it. We need not do the derivation. I just explained it. But when you have to do the question, you can just straight away use this for sum of the coefficients, sum of even coefficients, sum of odd coefficients like this. Okay, let's say we have this question given in JEE 2021. Let's discuss it based on this. If the sum of the coefficients, if the sum of the coefficients in the expansion of x plus y whole power n is 4096, then the greatest coefficient in the expansion, is, so this was given a numerical answer type in JEE 2021. So if there is only one variable, we'll put x as 1. If there are two variables, for finding sum of coefficients, you have to write f of 1 comma 1. So put x and y both as 1, it will become 2 power n, and that is equal to 4096. In case if 3 variables are there, you put each variable as 1. So whenever they ask you to find sum of coefficients in that function, If there is one variable, put that variable as 1. If you have 2 or more variables, put all of them as 1. So putting x and y as 1, it will give you 2 power n as sum of coefficients, and that is given as 4096, which is 2 power 12. So since base is same, equating powers, you'll get n equal to 12. And you know that the greatest coefficient will be the coefficient of middle term. So I'll write the greatest coefficient short form GC equal to, for middle term, what is the coefficient if n is even? NC n by 2, because n is even, n is 12, which is even. So 12C6. So answer must be 12C6. You can calculate and write the answer. So the greatest coefficient is always the coefficient of middle term. So since n is 12, the middle term coefficient will be NC n by 2. For n odd, what is the formula? NC n minus 1 by 2 or NC n plus 1 by 2. For even, this is the formula. So this is from JEE 2021. The ratio of coefficient of the middle term in the expansion of 1 plus x power 20 and the sum of the coefficients of two middle terms in the expansion of 1 plus x power 19 is. This was also given as a numerical answer type question in 2021. So for 1 plus x power 20, since n is even, what is the coefficient of middle term?
20C10.
20C10, NC n by 2 divided by, and if it is 1 plus x power 19, the middle term coefficients means what was the formula for n odd? NC n minus 1 by 2 and NC n plus 1 by 2. These are the coefficients when n is odd, middle term coefficients. When n is even, it is NC n by 2. So for 1 plus x power 19, it is 19C, 19 minus 1 by 2, 18 by 2, so 9, plus 19C, 19 plus 1, 20 by 2, 10. So this ratio they asked us. And we have a property that NCR plus NCR minus 1 is n plus 1 CR. So using this property, what will be the denominator? 19 and 19 would become 20. See, R and R minus 1, you'll write the bigger one. So 9 and 10 bigger is 10, so you'll write 10. So when I write that both are becoming same, they cancel out, give you the answer as 1. So answer is 1 for this. This is too simple. So the middle term coefficient in this is 20C10. In 1 plus x power 19, what are the middle term coefficients? 19C9 and 19C10. So they asked us to find the ratio of this and the sum of these two. And that is 1. The next question, third one. This is from JEE 2022. If the sum of the coefficients of all the positive powers of x in the binomial expansion of x power n plus 2 by x power 5 whole power 7 is 939, then sum of all the possible integral values of n is. So you can try this. X power 5, 2 by x power 5, x power n plus 2 by x power 5. So the expansion is x power n plus 2 by x power 5 whole power 7. If you write general term TR plus 1, it should be NCR x power n whole power 7 minus R 2 by x power 5 whole power R. So this is same as 7CR 2 power R. You can separate out. The power of x will be n into 7 minus R minus 5R. This is the power of x. So they said that the sum of the coefficients will be equal to 939. So you know that because the power is 7, what will be the possible values R can have? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So when you consider R as 0, you'll get 7C0, 2 power 0 as the coefficient. R as 1, it is 7C1, 2 power 1. So just you list out R equal to, it is 7C2, 2 square. R equal to 3, it is 7C3, 2 cube. Then for R equal to 4, it is 7C4, 2 power 4. Like that for R equal to 5, 6 and 7 if you see. And list out that sum is 939 they mentioned. You are saying something?
Yes, sir. We have to check if the x power is positive, right?
Yeah, that we need to check now. Okay. So these are all the coefficients. So the sum also must be 39, 939 they said. So for which case is the sum 939? So you just add and see. The first coefficient is 1. Second coefficient will be 14. Third coefficient is 84. The next one you calculate, I'm writing directly 280, 560, which is adding to 939. So that means you will add only till there. That is, this is for T0, the first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and fifth term. So this sum is 913. That means you have to choose these terms. At the same time, they also said the power must be positive integer. So what does that mean? N into 7 minus R minus 5R is greater than or equal to 0. And based on this, you have to find out the value of n and add up. So for what value of n it is going to hold, we should see. So 7R minus nr minus 5R. 7n, sorry, 7n minus nr minus 5R greater than or equal to 0. So for what values of n it is going to hold, that we need to check.
So equal to 1 comes, sir.
So 7n is greater than or equal to r into n plus 5.
Equal to 1 comes, sir.
Equal to won't come. They said it's only positive integer. They didn't say non-negative word. So based on this, how many values you are getting, you verify and then count. Which value of n will satisfy this, you check. N equal to will satisfy. N equal to would give you 7 into 2 here. And here 7 will cancel. So r less than 2 you will get in that case. But they ask you sum of possible values of n. So for which terms did the sum add to give you 939? For r equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because for this values of r only it happened. So based on that, you find out if r is 0, 7n is greater than 0, n is greater than 0, you will not get anything. If you put r as 1, you'll get 7n greater than n plus 5, 6n greater than 5, n greater than 5 by 6. So based on this, you choose and see once. Suppose if n lies between 7 to 12, let us check. So when you put n as 7 here, what will be the value of r you get? You check whether it is within this or not. Like that, you check for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, and if these are the values satisfying, then the sum of values would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sum of all these n values, if you add up, that will give you 57. But how to decide this, you check. So actually, what condition you can apply is directly, you can take till fifth term only, you can take anyway. So what is the power? If I put for fifth term, for r equal to 5, what will you get? For r equal to 5 here, what will you get? 7n is greater than 5 into n plus 5. So you will get 2n is greater than 25. Can we choose this? No. So did we choose which term was the last term that I've chosen? Fifth term was the last term. Then I had to take 4 in that case. So if fifth term was the last term, I had to take till only 4.